in the same summit. We did the one in Munyonyo, that conference hall. By the way, when it was opened up, the news were everywhere. I said, "See, we also this an iconic building."
On this episode, we talk to engineer Fred Muwomya, the structural engineer behind the magnificent Entebbe International Airport extension, the majestic Speke Resort Munyonyo Conference Hall, the prestigious Parliament of Uganda extension, and the gigantic Kabira Country Club expansion, among others. Discover how Fred delivers these iconic projects on time, under budget, and with national pride.
How did you get these projects? How did you get selected? Moreover, these are two iconic projects.
We're doing that roof. I was so confident. People were saying, "Why are you so confident?" Because I knew I ever done. I could sleep, say from 7 up to 10. Why sleep up from 7 up to 10? You see, we had a power surge that from 7 up to 10. The computers couldn't run.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of CEO Insights. On here, we talk to CEOs, corporate leaders, and other key people of influence. If you'd like to be on the show or know someone who should be, please get in touch with us. If you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so right now. When you subscribe, you enable us to continue growing, which in turn enables us to continue attracting these intriguing guests. Please remember to leave a comment below and tell us about your experience watching the show. Thank you, and let's get on with the show.
I come from a humble background, and after campus, I started throwing my application CVs here and there. Now, there's a funny story. We had rumors that there is a consultancy firm which threw someone with CV because he had got a first class.
They threw away the CV?
Because he had a first class. Okay. The reason being that first class students usually work for like 6 months and go back for what? Further studies.
For PhD.
So I was among those guys who had the first class. So I said, now, people are saying that you study hard, opportunities will be around. So I felt like, what should I do now? Sorry, I thought I applied to contractors and also. So now one day, my uncle calls me and asked me, "Fred, where are you?" I told him I'm in town looking for jobs. He said, "No, how are you looking for jobs in the town?" I said, "No, you are throwing in applications here and there." So now he tells me, I have a friend I grew up with. He's an engineer. Please come and see him. So, you see, he calls me at around midnight. I don't have any CV around with me. I had no document whatsoever with me. So, I link up with him. He tells me, "Let us meet." He was at Mukono House, yeah. Now, we meet him. So, we meet him. The guy is called Kato. He tells me, we were here. For him, we are done by the architecture. And for me, I was in there. But he told me, "No, I have a colleague upstairs who does structural engineering and tells me he's the best structural engineer in town here." So now he tells me, "You come and we go." Now, I'm a job seeker who has no document with me. You see, I've been throwing in applications which I had printed already. Now, he tells me, "You come and we meet up." So now, I meet the gentleman. He tells me, "What is your CV?"
Nothing.
No, just tell him, I have it on the flash. Yeah? So, anyway, he was so kind. He told me, "You have it on the flash. Okay, you give it to me." Yeah? So I gave him a flash. So he told me which file name. I told him the file name. So he looks through the CV, says, "Tomorrow come."
To start?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I got my first job.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't do any interview. He just looked at my CV. That's when I joined to infrastructure projects in the school. That's the company. And it was headed by engineer Karibu Tugumi Series. So now that's how I got my first job. So I have never done any interview with him.
Or any other company?
No, other companies really. That's the company which I've worked for most of my time, and I have never done an interview with him. He has during the course of the business, Yeah, I gave him my papers, like, but I didn't do an application with him. So that's how I got my first job. And so happens that he does mostly structural works in the company. So now that's how I went up and started. I came into structural engineering. But for me, I for one, I thought, since I had done a project in highways, so I thought for me I would be going for highways. Why? Structural engineering, there's a lot of calculations and mathematics, and it's so tiring. So now even for me from the university, I say, will I handle that mathematics? And will I handle that everyday calculations, review this, review that? So that's how I came into structural engineering. That's close to now 15 years ago.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. How has it been? In fact, just proceed on this point. Tell me, the entrance into the structural engineering is very unique, to be honest. Very unique and very interesting as well. Now, you are in structural engineering 15 years down the road. If you look at all the projects that you have worked at or worked on, which one would you say stands out for you as your greatest achievement, your crowning jewel as of today? If you can share.
I have to share indeed. Now, there were two projects, and indeed, they came into a similar scenario. One is that airport extension.
The one, okay, go on.
That one.
Yes.
See, basically, because of that summit.
Yes.
So there was a lot of construction by
You worked on the airport extension?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So now, that project, it was so, the way it was formed, no, we had started sometime back with the elevated, you see that parking, entrance, all that stuff. But now, this project came up that it was time bound. And structurally, it's an intricate structure. So, and when it came out, really, you see, let me tell you, when the country is happy, you just know that I have my brains there. So really, when people are happy, you just know that it's as if there's something new. You know, for us in structural engineering, because you've been doing the same work forever, and you have been repeating, it's a repetitive work, you don't notice that there's something you put up. You get? There's nothing you have put up because you am paid to do this. This is my work. This is the same structure here and they have been doing this and so. But when the entire country, you see on Twitter, X, people on Facebook, even the news saying the skyline at the airport has changed. So really, just that seems there was some good work.
Yes, hold on. Let me pause here real quick.
Yes.
Personally, whenever I go through the airport, this extension is really very outstanding for me. I have commented with people who have dropped me, people who have picked me up. It is really, really nice and compares very favorably with other airport, lounges, arrivals or whatever across the world, really. And it stands out. It stands out, and I'm very excited. I hope you can see the excitement.
So really, sometimes really we take long because for us, we are like cooks. Because usually for them they cook, people eat for them, but they don't take that initiative that it seems what I'm doing is so perfect. So that's me. Also, that's happened to me that people are so happy about the thing taking shape. So really. That was one project. And the other project in the same summit, we did the one in Munyonyo, that conference hall. Yeah, by the way, when it was opened up, the news were everywhere. I say, seems also this an iconic building in future. But to me, I saw it was concrete, still work, concrete and still work. But when it came out, and so many people saying, is this Uganda? This year I just knew that this could be a project really I should also be proud of.
Fred.
And also what happened, now the developer, he was so happy, he told him that Fred, it has come out. I just heard that. Indeed.
The developer?
Yes. Also
acknowledged.
Yeah, he acknowledged and say it has come out properly. So I just realized that, wow, seems also this is a project to ponder about. But really, for me, I was just doing structural engineering. I did my job and said, wow. So those are the two projects we can discuss about.
Fred, let me I have to cut you short before you even give more information.
Yes.
First of all, by looking at you, 15 years experience, I would say you don't have the most experience in the country.
True.
You're not. You've not been in the trenches the longest time. You have not. Okay, fine. You got a first class and got a job in a strange way. But your path and what you have done so far is not really out of this world, right?
True.
But how did you get these projects? How did you get selected? Moreover, these are two iconic projects. You can start with the airport, both of them. It doesn't matter. But how did you?
Now, the first project for the airport, I worked it with my boss. That first boss I took, engineer Karim.
Okay.
So he's the lead, and I was the one working on it.
Okay.
Yes. So now, that's how I got it. You know, when I joined with engineer Karim, we were few in the office. So what could happen that if a project comes, you could do it from, first structuring yourself, foundation, columns, beams, slabs, up to the roof. One person like this, you needed to know everything as the entirety. Not like in an office where someone does a base, someone does a column, and you don't understand the principle and don't integrate them, all of them at once. So what happened at office, you could do, a project is handled by one person into its entirety, such that you don't miss out anything. You get. So now that's one. In that thing, it helped me to grasp the principles, what is needed very fast. Why? The project, you handled it as an individual. So you are the one answerable to everything on that structure whatsoever. So it helped me in that. There's something we usually joke at office called that usually those people say, I'm young and restless. So so what could happen when I started working, I could do work, my boss could give me work for the day, and he could give me work for the night. So it was so ready. So there was a lot of work to be done. Indeed, in our works, there was a lot of work to be done. So since my boss had a lot of work, so you could ask me, Fred, do you have any free space? Yes, because by then I was...
Later tonight,
yes,
at 10 p.m.
Yes, I was a single guy. I was just in a rented house in where you get it. So really, I had a lot of time on me. So I could come, work from 8 up to 5. I go back. My schedule was, because we have our... From town up to where you get it could take like an hour. So usually by 6 I was home. So now my schedule, I could sleep, say from 7 up to 10. Why to sleep up from 7 up to 10? You see, we had a power surge that from from 7 up to 10, the computers couldn't run. where I was staying. So I could sleep in that time. So I wake up at around 11 when I could work. So I could work from 11 up to like 3 a.m. in the morning. So those 4 hours uninterrupted time. So now I could sleep also from like say 3 up to 6. So by 7 I'm up and I could reach office that early. So that was the thing. So boss could give me work in that time. So it could be simple houses, even big structures, but you could know, for me I could structure myself properly that this work I'm doing during the day and this work I'm doing during the night. So I could do 2 projects at the same time, in the same day. So I could borrow that time and really, and there's a project which really, I still remember vividly in my head. There's a project at this, which is housing Metroplex. That Metroplex, Naalya, that project helped me that I did it during the night, and that project has everything a structural engineer needs. You can't imagine.
Like the different principles,
concepts, everything a structural engineer needs.
You're right.
So that project has really pushed me so ahead that I had to read hard because it has concrete. structural frames, those big ice sections, then roofing, even its spans are so big and all. So now it had everything a structural engineer could need. So really it skyrocketed my engineering principle very fast because I had it. I had in mind that, and it was time bound because people were already on site. I found it on the way that there was someone who had first designed it, but they changed the house and everything. So as a person now on the project, people are already on site. You have to work quickly. That even people on the site, they need the details. So now I had to put in an extra mile, work hard, and deliver. So now that project really also, really I appreciated it during the due course. It really did me good. So I was telling you that about the principles, how we got into that. So that thing of being young and restless, it assisted me so much to get work, to do projects, a lot of them in the shortest possible time, to get the principles right. So that one helped me to an extent that now the boss could trust me with extra and extra works. The other one of Munyonyo, so it so happened that also as people work here and there, I had to open up my, what can I call it? Trading name, trading company. So because really after when a person grows up, you expect also to fly out and test the waters if you can manage them. So it happened that after I think my registration, I also started my own company. It's called Constaruca, CTK service. You can call it CTK. So now that's how I trade. The Munyonyo project so happens that I work for Ruparelia group. Most of their projects, I'm their structural engineer. How I joined there was also another story.
We want the story also. I want it.
Yeah. So now a summit comes, government says we wanted this. So the project is formulated and I'm the structural engineer around. So that's how I was picked up and I did the structural drawing for that and the structural part of it. But this may be one of the biggest holes in this country.
Really?
And also it's big. Really, it's in terms of concrete works which were done, and the intricate part of it was the timeline.
Tight.
It was so tight that they needed a year completed each and everything.
I remember there was a time in the news, actually, there was a where I think it was like the project manager or whatever was having guests to come and view the work in progress.
True.
And they were coming at a much more frequent time spans than they normally do.
True.
Because of this deadline.
The deadline was tight. And people, when the construction at the summit like that, as a country, Uganda, people are skeptical that it can't happen, really, that could never happen. Buildings of such magnitude take a lot of time. Even people even started saying that people are constructing and they're not waiting for the concrete to dry. That the thing is going to collapse on people. That the cement is not dry. But really, what we did, we increased the concrete class of that building, and we used 40 and 30. So it's so that it could give us, like, say, within 7 days, the concrete has really reached some good strength, so that people can continue with other work. So that's how really we caught up with the time.
For a person who does not understand the concrete strength, you said between 30 and 40. What is it normally for a normal storage?
Usually, normally people here we use 25.
25. And
25, and now our normal construction here, locally, even people go as low as 20. Yes. So, but here we controlled the class of concrete because we knew that, short of that, because usually in concrete, people are asked to give like 28 days for concrete to cure and all that. Really, we didn't have that luxury to have 28 days. People seated, just waiting. No, we didn't have that. And second, it had a lot of steel. You see that roof is spanning 50 meters.
Wow.
And the funny thing with it, the ceiling, it was supposed to be a walkable ceiling. There are so many like SCs, everything, cameras, and all that stuff. And also it has a future in the middle that you can separate that hall into two. So we have a sliding partition wall, and it slides from the roof. Imagine a roof which is like 40 meters.
Right.
You have to hang a door which is 12 meters high. 12 meters high, now imagine like those are like 3 floors of a building.
True.
So it is a heavy thing. So all that. So it became an intrigue and an interesting project really for people. So the timing, the time frame needed, and also its complexity. You get, and some material had to be imported from out. So the time, so that project really, so I really got done, and the way people were saying that we won't beat the deadline, I just felt happy that really we've made it. Yes. So it was really an interesting project also.
In those moments when you're working on that, what kind of pressure or stress are you feeling when you're looking at the clock ticking, when you're looking at the media, the negative, all these normal comments that people put online, right? The project lead is putting pressure on you and your own considerations on the project. What are you thinking at that time?
You see, as like a structuring on a project, life becomes so hard. One, everyone knows that the engineer is the problem.
Yes.
They don't know that you don't ask them which kind of engineer is a problem. We have the contractor, we have the engineer also as a problem. Second, for them, they know that such a project has like other players. So now every time they say, who's the engineer on the project? Who's the engineer on the project? They don't knowing that. And now when the people come, they say, he's the engineer. He's the engineer. Not knowing that really, you have a lot. And also in our field here, as with our colleagues, we know that Fred is the one on the project. So when they meet the deadline, every time they be throwing you at Fred, what's the problem with our project? Give us our project. And because for them, they'll be knowing that you are the structural engineer on the project. They'll be asking, Fred, give us our project. So that's the pressure. And also now what happens, there are some changes which come. And like such magnitude big projects, when they make a simple change, going back to review and the shortest possible time, even though you have like 3 people on your team, let me tell you, coordinating all the information at once, structure becomes hard. That you have to say someone one is handling, say, foundation, someone 2 is handling slabs, someone 3 is handling, say, the roof. So they say, let us modify this roof a bit. You have changed the person of the roof, the person doing beam. So now you have changed a lot. So it so happens that we had like some changes here and there, which really, they're not changing the scope, but they're adding here and there, change here, change there. And
Optimize the thing.
Optimizing again. So it became that way. But you are making the changes, you have to make sure every information you are giving, it suits the time frame. Don't bring designs which are complicated for people to do what? To make.
In that time.
Even though the design is right, even though what you have done is okay, but now the time frame. So you have to look into all that. Structural engineering and the construction is like a rubber band. A rubber band, when you overstretch it, can break. But when you don't stretch it so much and you play along with it, you're okay. You are considered what? Satisfactory. You can do whatever you want. As long as you have not stretched it. So that's the structural engineering should be. As long as you have not stretched it to break, you're okay to move with it. Yeah. So that's how we had to model that properly, such that we are within a time frame, changes are coming, modifications are coming, and really for me, I prefer to have a better product than rushing to finish up the product, refusing to do this and that because of the time frame, and also because of the science. Structural engineering is a science and the art. Some people have the science, others have the art. Both Others have the science and the art. So you may find some people, if you fail the art, you may be having the science. You make the project complicated because you don't have the what? The art. But you can be having the art. You know, people with the art, there's these people who land on the site, we just copy from that. We did this, they have the art. Yeah? But when you ask them on the science, why are you doing this? They now look the other side, say, the engineer said this. So we have to do that. We have to be knowing both the science and the art to become a good structural engineer. Yes.
Do you have, okay, so those are two national facing projects, right? How about for non-national facing projects? Something that you've done that you have felt challenging. Don't talk about, normal apartment complexes, storied buildings, that's fine. But something that has challenged you, but which is not national facing.
No, I don't know about the Naalya project. Structurally, really it's a complex project. You have a span, which is the maximum is, I think, 40 meters. And you have to use an I-beam. You have to crop you have to crop, say that you have, its roof.
Like an arch.
It's like an arch. So it was so a complicated venture. Then you had to cut the members, and so the members lifting them. So it was also an intricate project. And another roof, which we also I'm proud of. There is a church in Naalya, it's called Worship Harvest. They have their auditorium. I worked on it. It's a marvelous auditorium. I think also just spanning 50 meters.
Wow.
Yes, it's a conglomerate between concrete structure, steel structure, but it's roof. When you look into it, really, it's a good auditorium. When it was done and finished, I said, plus. And usually when people come, they look at it and say, really, usually these are structures which are not really common. And one, because they are capital intensive.
Yes.
They are capital intensive. So when it came out, but it was from Naalya, where I get the confidence to know that
to be able to go in Munyonyo and do the one.
We're doing that roof. I was so confident. People were saying, "Why are you so confident?" Because I knew I ever done a 50 somewhere.
Did you tell them?
No, I told him we have ever done this roof. So by the even the developer said, "But Fred, I've ever done." I told him the roof because we're saying that country outsource someone from outside to come and do the roof. No, I told him, no, this roof can be done here in Uganda. And asked him, Fred, are you sure? I told him there is a church I've just completed and has been done here in Uganda. So, like developers have that charisma.
Yes.
So when we just picked it up and said, we are going to do it from Uganda. We used no contractors.
BUBU.
Yes. We did it from Uganda here. There was nothing really that there was. The only thing which was important it was that door which I've told you about, which is like 40 meters, 12 meters high. So, but most of the things, they're done.
For a person who is looking at this, they want to build their double-storied house, they want to build their apartment complex. Okay. So far what you've talked about is, like you say, capital-intensive, huge projects. People are scared of approaching you because you've talked of these big things. So do you also do for the Muwomya projects? Have you done those? What is your experience in those? What is your percentage?
See, the way when you have looked at Kampala skyline, it is fewer compared to the Muwomya outcrops which are coming up. Meaning that I do much for the lower people, the Muwomya class, compared, because now, like for example, like the conference hall, it would be like one in Uganda like for the other 10 years. Yes. But now there are so many apartments coming up here and there. Now, the challenge with now the medium lower class construction is what I've told you about. We have so many people who know in structural engineering, the art. And they don't know the science. So now when you come, you talk to someone that, you see, this one can do this, because I know this. I have the advantage that I know the science and the art for real. the art, I'm an artist. So really what happens, when you tell someone, no, you can do this, like this and that. You refine, no, when you're doing there, someone's project, you do this and that. For example, there was a project where a client wanted to remove a column from a building because he bought the house and he wanted like a big sitting room. Mm-hmm. Now I told him it is possible. The builder said no, it can't be. Because he told him that no, these are the engineers from, usually we had the rhetoric, that you have the engineers, office engineers, and also engineers on site. Yes. So that we don't have practicals. First from the offices, that we don't have what? Practicals. So now what happened? I had to tell him, no. You see, when you move a column like from a building, it doesn't fall inside. Tell me that the building is going to fall down. No.
This is what I would think for me.
No, it doesn't fall down. Yeah. So you see now, the way the buildings mobilize themselves. Yes. It's like for you when they cut off your leg. Don't think that you're going to completely fail to walk.
Yes.
There's a way you may find, either you can crawl, you can hop. So there is also the buildings do what? Do mobilize. But there are some critical elements like columns. When you remove it, part of the building can collapse. But there are some columns, even if when you remove it, the building will stand, though there will be a crack somewhere, a deflection somewhere, but the building won't collapse. Yes. So now, that was a class of that column. So I told him, no, this can be removed. The builder said, no, it's not possible. So it was a heated debate between me and the builder. Now, for me, when you don't have the science and you have the art, I can't argue.
There is limited discussion.
Because what can we discuss? So now when you start saying we did this side, now that is the art. So, but if you have a science, say, when did this, that, I say, I can't argue with him. No, they did for me. I left the site. So after like, I think a week, he calls me again and said, Fred, you told me this column can be removed. I told him it is okay, you can remove it. We told him how. I told him, you see these buildings, you know how we prop this building, the slabs, when you are casting there, you can prop this building properly. You look for a way of transfer that loading, that column which had, and transfer it properly. Yes, then I gave him a sketch, what should be done, how to be done, and he's a happy man. I removed the column from his building. From there, you just know that this man can remove a column from a building and the building stays. So it was just a matter of science. You just remodel, you think about it. How can I remove a column from this building? How can I add extra supports? How can I transfer? Like first in engineering, we are looking at how you transfer forces from this point to this, from here. Though even you are seated here, someone thought of how to transfer what you are doing sitting to the other side, to the wall, to the column, the sub, then to the foundation. So just think about, that is the art. Yes, the science that there is a column, but now what is that art of, now I can remove this, now someone wants like say big space like this, someone wants this. So that's how these small projects, they are so tricky in that nature that many people can do them because they have the art. Some also have limited science, but they can do them. So really, there are people who prefer our services. Why? Professional in nature, that he knows that someone I can refer to if I have a problem. I can tell him, Fred, you did this and this, but this is a problem. What's the issue here? So now, in most cases nowadays, we are looking people's structure. Now we go on checking integrity because many people have issues in structure. Usually, by the structures don't fall down like anyhow. But they have issues structurally. Now my beam is sagging, I have like a small crack here. So it can take me a week just looking through such kind of works. So those are the works which I do. But also I will come even small projects as long as it is money.
So they should not be scared.
They shouldn't be scared.
They won't see a bill which matches the national bill.
No. By the way, what happens? We build it's the same building. Because the other one, it's a big project, you expect that it's some handsome pay. But even someone comes here and say, I have this. Even as we are considerate, we know the economy. We are not from far that you see someone who's going to construct, say, is a residential house. You don't expect him. You say, now this one, I'll charge you this, according to this and that. Sometimes by the way also, we need the fuel. You need like some money in your pocket to make you move around here and there. But as you are eyeing for other CS projects, you also have this, and other our colleagues. Now you are studying with a colleague, he has bought his house. I cannot say, no, I don't work on such. No. I have to do what is needed for. Yeah. So that's how I work in each and every assignment given to me. Even if you have any, just pass it on. I welcome it and somebody. Yes.
Okay, interesting. So I have a question.
Yes.
There are several newspaper reports over the years showing situations of buildings collapsing, killing people, cracks in columns, people have to evacuate their offices. There are some, you know the stories.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about this?
Such is a compound effect. It isn't like on one person. There are so many, starting from the developer, the contractor, the designer. It's like an accident on the road. An accident on the road may not be due to the driver. He may have done everything in his capacity, but someone comes and knocks him.
He might be packed even.
Yes, and you have done everything. It could have been that you took his car to the mechanic. The mechanic failed to tie the nut, but the driver did whatever needed to be done. Now, for structures, the same applies. Since it's like teamwork, we have a various team. We start from the developer himself or herself. We go to the designer themselves. We go to the builders themselves. And also these builders also have material suppliers. Some materials are substandard or some are adulterated. So someone does the right thing, the right procedure, but it becomes out negative. So that's why on every failure, a team is comprised. They can check and see what went wrong. So now if something went wrong, that's when there we can say, please, the designer made an error. Now, first one, we just know that he did this error, so he shouldn't repeat it again. It will be an example to us that what he did or what the methodology he employed was not right. So it gives us an edge, or it could have been a commission or an omission from someone. So failure in structures, it starts from, it could be a design error, it could be a methodological error, it could be poor material supplied, it could be negligence. But what I've realized in the failures which you have like in Kampala here, most of them, they are categorized like in 3 or 4. One, designers, I can't rule it out because most of them, some show that really the designer didn't put enough bars, didn't consider enough. So yeah, really also designers make errors. One, secondly, the construction methodology employed. You can find someone who has excavated like 6 meters, has not protected any soil, has not. You see, he has omitted a vital role because you have excavated, but you have left it bare. Because when you excavated it somewhere else, you did it like that and it worked. But now this one may be a little bit different. That was negligence during construction. And secondly, third, it could come from a developer and he gives an instruction that you people, I want this thing to be done like that. And someone who's constructing, who's implementing, may say, boss has said to do so. Is the developer and want to sit as quickly as that possible. Because I remember sometime when we were this, I think by that time I was still in high school, there was a project in Muwomya on Entebbe Road. They were building hotels and what. So the hotel collapsed. sometime back. I think
I
it was
remember.
sometime back. But the news was saying, no, the developer came and told these people, you remove the scaffolding. You see, I don't know if that was true, but really, it's led to the collapse of the entire site.
People dying.
Yeah. So that can also apply. But also, like in excavations, you may excavate. No, it is a problem usually which you have. You can excavate, say, on your plot, but your neighbor put like a sock pit, or he has a leaking pipeline, water pipe. You don't know about it because it's in his side. So for you excavate, after some time, boom, the thing slides. You get sad because it was in someone's other jurisdiction. You didn't know about it. You couldn't even ask him about it. So really, that's the method you have employed through the construction. Now, fourth, it could be nature. People are really you are constructing, then a storm comes, and really things usually by the way accidents happen just during rainy seasons. People could be like building something and they have just constructed, and then it rains heavily, then things give way. Also, like some slides, some floods can come, they eradicate the soil, and nearby you see the things sliding. So all those four things, I think those are the main causes of, but mostly the ones which you can control, the first thing you can control them. The one which you can't control, it's the nature. Nature has come, you can't control. But the other three, at least you can try as much as possible to control them.
There is also, in the comments, they do mention something about, you touched on it actually, substandard materials. People go to hardware shops and buy things and come to the site. Not that they mix them wrongly, but they mix well, but the things fail under test. They cannot stand the pressures. Is this a common thing you're seeing? Or?
Yeah, it is a common thing. I think people, some people derive happiness in people's misery. See, really, someone has come, he has paid him money. Why should you bring out or to put on the market? And like in constructions, like when we're still studying, they used to tell us that in structural engineering is like a weapon of mass destruction. Yes, you can destroy like a lot of lives just by that negligence. So no, some people developed that crookedness life tendencies in the business. Because why should you mix, like, say, ash into cement? Why should you bring substandard bars on the market? Okay, save for the people, for the authorities who are supposed to do also to do their monitoring part, to do the
Quality
standard
control.
quality. See, sometimes you can be overwhelmed, but because some people are crooks in nature. And for us, the Ugandan market, the way it is, people prefer cheap things. Because I don't know, I think that's the nature of human beings in nature. We don't want to go to a certain what. They may tell that this cement is 30,000, this one is 35. They even may say 33,000 or 32. Even sometimes it's 31, and this is 30. People say, give me that one for 30. No, by not even asking yourself, why is this one 30 and this one 31?
And compared to what you're putting up.
Yes. So, such things, really, this one I think is a behavioral nature of people in business would think that they will get profit from people by cheating them on quality of material they are supplying. Advice here, like I tell my clients usually that try to get material from a trusted source. Though sometimes the trusted source may be a little bit higher in expense, but usually it won't be like twice the cost of the other one. So that's my preference in life, that if this one says 31 and 30, try as much as possible to get material from a trusted source, because they are there on the market. Yes. And sometimes even people prefer even to buy things which are not branded. Do you know that even, like, for example, in the bars, reinforcement bars in Kampala, there are bars which are not branded. And someone says, give me that. For me, I don't care. You get? Yeah. So, also the nature of the people around and also the business. And some people, even developers, They know that they are building to sell. They say they can put anything they want to cut what? Costs and dollars.
There is a tendency where the site engineer tells the developer, you don't need a structural engineer. We have built these buildings many times. And you know for a fact that they have built these buildings many times. And they convince the developer not to have a structural engineer on site. How important is it? If I know that this man has actually built several storied buildings, right? Why would I not go with his art now and experience in building the thing as opposed to paying extra for a structural engineer to come on the site to view?
I think it goes about to economy. People think that when they use someone who has ever done work somewhere, they are saving. But in actual sense, the people who usually did the art, the engineering art, who are conversant to the engineering art, usually do expensive designs. Why? They try to over-design because that one was safe. And also sometimes some people, you see, usually like in Kampala here, we can drive on what they call a kataka. Driving on the shoulders.
Yes.
One day you can drive on the shoulder and you pass. Comfortable and you reach successful. But one day you can also try to deliver, then a policeman does. You get?
Yes.
And it becomes expensive for you. You have wasted a lot of time because you have driven on what? On the shoulders. So the same applies to people who don't want to employ. Because for me, usually I have colleagues. I usually go to site to find someone who's doing everything you wanted. Then it does. You see some weird columns, some weird bars, and he has been building for him for so long. But that's what he has preferred. But usually in the end, it's a little bit expensive.
Because of the overcompensation.
Yes.
Because for you, you can say, I remember there was something that I saw that really surprised me. So, a friend of mine was putting up a structure, and in the initial design, they had a column. I think the column had like 8 Y16s in it, right? And then it was big, it was wrong, it didn't look good for where it was. So he wanted a different, maybe smaller design or something. And they talked to the structural engineer. The structural engineer said, remove these 16s, right? And put 20s and make a smaller column.
True.
For me, when I heard that, I said the building is going to fall. But I didn't know
that.
Now, to your point, having the science and the art, you can know that when you put the T20s in a smaller column, it will be strong as having the 16s in a bigger column.
Perfect.
And it will look even more beautiful.
Perfect.
I didn't know.
So that's why sometimes you go to buildings which have so many columns. If they park, even the cars they cannot negotiate the parking spots. The columns are huge like nothing. They're like a forest of columns. Why? The designer had to put as many as possible.
They're
because
like props.
he wanted to be safe as much as possible. But he didn't know the science behind that. So that's what happens. We may think that you have cut the corner. True may be cheaper. But usually for me, I look at them and say, there's a problem. Usually.
From the projects that you have described,
right?
They are big in scope, they are varied.
Some are small.
Okay. But there are many.
Yes.
Right? There are many. So if someone is watching this show right now and is wants to come to you to give you business, but is concerned that you're going to put them at the end of the line, you will put them, their file will be down somewhere and they will not get your personal attention. How do you address this issue from that person?
You see, like any other business, we have other associates we work with. I have also a team I work with, people who assist me, like designs, drafting. You see, back then, before this computer innovation, they used to do drafting using hand. They used to do design using hand. Can you imagine? Imagine now designing a 10-floor building using hand. After you draw it using hand, you make an error, you erase it, you see, it was a tedious exercise. But now, with the computer, of course, the innovation, we have softwares we use, which really sometimes they quicken our works. So now I have to remind you about the other thing of the art and the science. See, now some people just knew computer work, not knowing the science. So that's why nowadays there's this AI. When you ask AI about any structural engineering, hard question, let me say like that, they'll tell you the answer. They'll say, but you consult a structural engineer.
Everyone.
Yeah, usually I've been trying to ask AI on some, after some few rhetorics, they tell you, but also consult a structural engineer on this. So really, sometimes you can be busy as a structural engineer here, move the other side. But another month, you're doing nothing. You're just reviewing meetings. Usually, the best thing I've realized in life, like in our field here, if you shape yourself properly, you plan and tell someone, even though usually our work is not like life-threatening. If someone has a challenge, you can wait tomorrow. If you can't wait tomorrow, like it is your repeat customer, because even me now I have people who are my repeat customers. If they just call me, really, you have to attend to their, even if it's a scratch, you have to attend to it very quickly. But usually someone calling you as a structural engineer, for you to mix up programs here and there, not meet this one and this one. You have to make sure you plan properly. Problems are not really life-threatening, most of them in structural engineering. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, it would be like 2 which are life-threatening, but others are not really life-threatening, that you can meet someone a day later. So I have people I work with. I train them, at least they know what to do. So now my task now to review all what they have done, if they meet really what we have been discussing. If sometimes also before they progress, I'm in close contact with them that there's this challenge, do this, do that. And sometimes I do the work myself because really I know it. And I have the time, usually I have the time to do that work. And so you shouldn't get scared. You'll be my first priority when you come. I'll be the one to welcome you and to handle you very well.
You have described successful projects. Congratulations, by the way. You have described several of them, many of them. Regarding your own professional, I would call it low point. If you look back at your career, which point can you say that this was my bottom of the valley, that I had no choice but to go up from here? What happened and what was describe it for us?
I had a project in the industrial area where during a retaining wall, they had started backfilling the soil and also rolling using a big roller. Now, I don't know what, I know what happened. So now they were hammering, and the wall cracked and it broke. I took like 6 months, something haunting me at the back. I'm registered engineer. I've been working so hard, and this is a simple element of a building, just a wall. Why would it? So it came out like after some time that, you know what happened? Someone just knocked that wall. It was an accident on site, and no one was willing to take the blame. But then you had to discuss, to write reports, what's happening, what's really all that. So that's the only challenge, the two challenges I'm seeing on site, that a problem happens, no one wants to reveal.
And that is very hard for someone to actually reveal that I did something.
Yes, not knowing that when you reveal, a solution can come. But if you keep quiet, it will be hard for us to get a revelation from you. But somehow it's easier to note that concrete is bad, this is that. But if you don't have that, so that's why even the same as we are discussing about the adulterated material, that you never know, you can just look at the bag of cement and say, this bag has a problem. This one has a problem. No, you cannot. Really, if unless someone reviews that, you see these bags, they have a problem. Because even there's a certain time, we're mixing concrete. They had bought, I think, like close to 100 bags of cement. But when they started mixing, they could form an oil film. Concrete could form an oil film on top. You get? And now, to talk about this brand in Kampala, it is the best brand of cement, but now the cement has what? Oil. How can you explain to people? And you see, sometimes also to fight this battle, it takes time, my brother. It is hard to fight. So now, if someone cannot release that this thing is a problem, so it gets us quickly to say, change this at an early stage. So if you can't arrest it at an early stage with the information at hand, it becomes a little bit hard. Yes.
If you're driving down the road, you're in traffic jam, you look on your right, you see a storied building going up, and you see that there is something structurally wrong with the column setup in the beams or in the bars or anything like that. Do you pull over? Can you pull over and give them caution?
No.
Why? If you can see that it is actually going, it is not right.
Two things can happen. If I so happens that I know the engineer on site or that board, I can call him as a friend, but I cannot go on someone's site and give an instruction. Even in our code of ethics, we as an engineer don't bump to someone's work like that. Yes, unless even if by the client comes and requests me to look into someone's work, I have to inform him that
the other one.
Yes, the engineer that there is a challenge here, or you can be having another alternative or what. But if I see there's a problem, I can try to do, because there's one time I had a client, I was having a construction, and also another project was moving on at the same time. But I just realized that the people on the other side were stealing the material from that side. So I had to inform the engineer on site, who was my colleague, that there be some theft of material here on site. So doing an audit, the client had lost, I think, was like 500 million
In theft.
in the theft.
Wow.
So in such a thing, really, it's hard to come and arrest such. Even like, because by the time they start stealing the material, just to know that they are compromising the strength. For you may not be knowing, but they are compromising the strength somewhere. But the client sometimes also he overpays all that stuff. So the easiest thing to do is to contact my colleague. Yeah, but I cannot come and issue an instruction. He give also even advice. It may be complicated because people may say, "Hey, this man wants to take your job."
He's the one who told us the advice.
Yes, really. Sometimes even may not be that good, but if really I say that it's really complicated, usually I give a phone call to my colleagues.
I was driving down the road with a friend, and we saw a structure going up. We so happened to stop. It was traffic. This was a real life example for me. And I saw the structure, and I told this friend of mine that the way they have set up those columns and that beam, this is not structurally right. And they asked me, how do you know? I said, just by looking, because of this, and this, it is not structurally right. Maybe 3 days later, we were driving by, and we saw that they had taken down everything. There was a truck with new bars, right, loaded fully with new bars, and they had removed all, the floor they had put. It had taken. So I looked. I was like how Jesus looked at Peter when the cock crowed. I just looked at my friend. I didn't say anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It can happen.
Do you have advice for a person, not even developers, because developers I would say have experience, but for a person who wants to build their first storied house, what advice should they do? Should they start with the little money that they have? Should they start up to the slab level? Should they start up to what considerations should they have regarding commodity theft? Any advice related to the best, I would call it, steps to take for that first storied building?
with the experience and things I've went through, in most cases, the first project is a project for you to learn. You really, even if you safeguard as much as possible, but you can do a proper planning, you reduce as much as possible. One, first get the paperwork right. When you do all the paperwork right, you have reduced the money you're going to pay councils, what people, this one is taking my things. Get security
On site.
on site for your store. Get a team which is going to build for you. You see, sometimes you may have a team which has built, but he has never built something proper. Take your time like a month to move around. Ask him, where have you built here and there? You ask the people he has built for, like 3 or 4 people around. They will let you know the proper information. This one, at least on your first project, try to spend it more.
For professionals?
Getting paperwork, information. So, even the build, the material you are using, try to get that class. So, after that, you know how to beat the system. You get to know where the other water was leaking. You get to know all the leakages, all that stuff. For the financial part of it, you know, business is business. If really you are a businessman, make as much as possible to finish the building as quickly as possible. You shouldn't bury all your money on a project. You build a structure for 6 years. Really, that's a lot of money. Because for you, you know, sometimes people fear to take up loan facilities. But I think if you have structured your loan properly, your cash flows properly, it can assist in sometimes. Because for me, there are projects I see taking like 8 years, but when you do the math and see if this person had taken a facility and the building had already started keep bringing in something, you could have facilitated this thing. But usually, I think it's a school of thought. I've never tried to do the math properly. All the economics are behind it. It's better you finish the project as early as possible, because even if it stays around, the thieves come in. The material they know which you could have bought at 70,000, it becomes 110. The governments also sometimes change. Regulations increase.
Right.
Because usually for me, I prefer projects which could span like 3 years. You look at 3 years to complete a project. That one is very, but for skyscrapers, you look at 5 years max.
So, when you look at the industry and look at a futuristic view, what trends are you seeing, especially for, I would say, residential, right? Do you see more double-storied residentials? Do you see more 3-story, 4-story? Are you seeing more one-bedroom studios? What are you seeing in terms of structural design that people are tending toward?
People are tending in town, you see, close to town, people are tending to 10-level buildings, condominium. 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and a 3 bedroom, and penthouse on top. Then middle upscale, they are tending to 4-level buildings. Why? They don't want to put in vertical transport, the lifts. And when you go high, the return on investment takes some time. It goes like 15 years and all that stuff.
You mentioned that you wake up at 4 in the morning. You mentioned you do not drink, you do not go out. You mentioned, you delegate your work, you do all that stuff, right? So those are some attributes on what is helping you to do or to perform at the level that you're performing, right? Do you have anything else or other things that you do or read or how you live your life, basically, to bring you to a level where you're performing at this point?
Yeah, I have two, can I call it attributes or yes, I just learned them from the chairman for Ruparelia Group. He has so many things he says, but these two I think they work for me properly. One, he says people shouldn't work for free, pay people. So that one I picked up that if someone works for me, indeed I want to pay that person.
Okay.
You see, many people and also companies and factories, especially in our construction, people are always striking here and there because you have not paid them their weekly wage. So, really, on his and every project, he says, pay people should be paid. Even if you work for him and say, boss, this one I work for, no, say, I should have to pay you. You need to pay someone for it. And I think it's in Islam where they are encouraged to pay someone before the sweat dries. Yes. So really, that one in my mind, really, I want to pay someone who has worked. Someone who has worked, you shouldn't take him for granted, even though he has done something you have expected for you to work for 10 days and he has used only 3 days. Pay what you have agreed.
Yeah.
Pay what you have discussed, however little it is. For me now, this boss of mine I told you about, Engineer Kalim, I've worked with him for close to 15 years. I'm not demanding him anything. When we are good at this, the money to be paid. If there's anything, however little it may be, he pays. And he prompted. You get that's you see. I remember even I cannot find him on the website. That man. But there are so many people now in the town here. You say that man, that person. Even there are so many people I worked with. You say that person. Work with him knowing that. So pay the person who has worked. Pay him. If you are penalizing him, penalize him knowing that you have done this wrongly, this one wrongly, so this is the balance, and you pay him the balance properly. Secondly, I think was against the chairman for Ruparelia Group. He was giving a talk somewhere. He said, "Don't rush." Just paraphrasing. Don't rush to get loans to buy something. Just keep yourself afloat. Other chances are coming. You may find that there's a plot of land you are selling in a nearby here and there, say 100 million, and for you don't have that money. And try to go get a loan from here and there. No, he said, keep afloat. Another big chance is coming. So you shouldn't rush to go into debt because you're going to buy something here and there. No. Keep afloat. Make sure that you have money. Another chance is coming. So that's what I've realized, that just have money. Things are coming. Better opportunities are coming. Just keep afloat.
I agree with the one for paying people. And for me, actually, what I think or what I try to do is the lower the amount is, or the smaller the amount, or the more menial the work is, the more seriously you have to ensure that you pay before the sweat dries.
True.
Because that small amount is significant, proportionally, percentage-wise, proportionally much more important to that person than to a millionaire that you might be paying.
That's true.
Right? Now, it is not to say that you don't pay the millionaire.
You should be paid.
You should be paid on time, but you should focus even more the smaller the amount goes, right?
Perfect.
So that, I agree with this 100%.
So you have not agreed with me to be afloat.
No. No, I agree.
Yes.
But I wanted to add that part. Yes, but I agree with the chairman's comments. Definitely insightful. So, Fred, Again, I would really, really love to thank you for coming on the show. It has been an eye-opener. Congratulations on all the projects that you've done.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are several others that you haven't mentioned for lack of time or even, I don't know, whatever. But thank you so much for coming on the show. I am truly happy for having hosted you. We appreciate your time, sparing the day. We wish you great success. We wish you continued growth and also additional, huge landscape transformations.
I also anticipate that will also be the line of my success.
Yes, when the time comes, I will also come. Maybe when we're putting up a new studio or something, we'll invite for your, Do you do pro bono work?
Yeah.
You do?
Yes.
You do?
Because, by the way, if you don't do pro bono work, I don't know which kind of profession will be. All professionals, either by force or by force, you do someone will take your money completely. Yeah? But really, I do pro bono work.
You do?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. Really, really appreciate your presence.
Welcome.